Alright, so we are just doing a quick little update for the chicks that we had. This is 3 weeks. These are the Cornish. These are the offspring of the Cornish hen and either the Bresse rooster or the Bresse hybrid rooster. And I haven't been feeding them real hard, and they're still growing pretty good. This is the first day that I've actually given them an evening portion, so I'm not too overly concerned with growing them super heavy in this first generation. I mainly just want to see how they act. Close this up. I mainly just want to see how they act, and so far they're actually pretty good. They are kind of a mix of an egg type of chicken and a meat type of chicken. They have pretty good appetites, but they still are fairly inquisitive and they want to check stuff out. So we'll go on, show the egg layers, which these guys are 5 weeks old. And they're doing really well. They've been outside for a couple weeks now, and fairly decent variety of sizes. Like that one over there close to the wall is fairly small. I think that's a male. And then you got like that one right there, and one up against the water. That one over there is a male, I believe, and it's got blue feet, but it's splashed, so it's probably the one that was the Australorp mother. So, and some of these, like this one here, it's got like a red tinting on it, so that one should be like a red broiler mother. It's possible it could be Rhode Island red mother, but anyway, so these are all 5 weeks old in here, and then we'll move on, take a look at the Cornish for comparison here. Now, there are a lot of different schools as far as how to grow out the Cornish cross meat bird, and what I'll do is I'll tell you how I do it. What I like to do is I like to give them morning and evening feed. When they're chicks, it's like fill it all the time. Usually they don't have real heavy consumption at that level, but when they get to be about 2 weeks old is when I switch them over and I just feed them morning and evening. And you can see I've got these large spinning top troughs. I'm not sure if that's coming in with the sun. There we go. So I think this is a 3 foot wide trough style, and basically that holds about 3 scoops of feed, just with like a ladle or a spoon or whatever. And so they'll get this roughly between week 2 and then week 5. I'll fill it up in the morning, I'll fill it up in the evening, and then when they're 5 weeks old, which was yesterday, was the first day that I started doing that, I put the 2 in there, and I fill them both up in the morning, and I fill them both up in the evening. So now that they're 5 weeks old, you can see they're considerably bigger than like the egg layers, but they should have a strong enough skeletal structure that over the next week to 2 weeks or so, you can feed them pretty much as heavy as you want. I wouldn't leave food out to them all the time, especially at night. But like I said, I do it twice a day, and they have been cleaning out everything that I've been putting in there. So the plan is I'm going to butcher these guys at about 6 weeks and 5 days from their actual hatch date. And these are all supposed to be females in here. So if I was doing males, I might not even let them go this long. And what I'll do is after they hit 6 weeks, I'll actually start weighing some of these. And what I'm looking for personally is about a 4-pound dressed bird, which means it's going to be about 5.5 pounds live. 5.5 to 6 is kind of where I want to have them live, and then you'll be getting that 4 to 4.5 pound dressed bird. And I like the females because they don't go through crazy feed like the males do. They still dress out to be fairly large, but they're not quite as long. So what they end up being is they end up being a really wide, just kind of a shortened bird. And they're a little bit cheaper, but I think it's not that big of a deal. One of the trade-offs for that is they actually take, per pound, they take a little bit more feed to finish them off. And I'll try to do a rough calculation of how much it would be to finish all these guys out, but it should have been somewhere around, based on the chart that the hatchery gave, should be about 250 pounds to finish all of these guys, to get them to that weight that I'm looking at, roughly 6-pound live bird. So we'll see. I bought feed by the 50-pound bag, but I was also feeding the egg layers as well. So it is a little bit of a adjustment that I'll have to do towards the end there. But since this is for my personal consumption, just giving me an idea of how much it costs is plenty fine. Like I said, they have feed tables and everything like that are relatively true. You may have some that overperform or underperform, but for the most part, they're pretty close to being on. So. The reason I switch over to this style of feeder is just so that as they grow, there's still plenty of room for them to get to the trough. And then when it looks like they're starting to get a little too crowded is when I go to the double. So there's plenty. I mean, these guys don't need to be as crowded as they are over on this side, because there's a few open spots over on this trough over here too.